Hi, I'm Nick Markey, Beach Barbell Physical Therapy and Gym in Wilmington. I want to thank you again for joining us for another day. Today I wanted to talk about how we do the things we do here. So first day I talked about the why, then I talked about why us, and now how, maybe a little bit more granular detail. Not too granular, still going to keep this to hopefully 5 minutes or less, but basically how we do the things we do here. So since we both have a physical therapy component and a gym fitness component, I'll start with the physical therapy side. So the physical therapy side, essentially how we do this is when someone has expressed interest or a need for physical therapy, maybe due to pain or injury and difficulty, performing their activities, or maybe they're having too much pain during their activities and they want to see if maybe there's something that might help. Bring them in, do an assessment, usually lasts up to an hour, where we do essentially a history taking per standard for medical professionals. Try to figure out what's going on in their story, figure out what variables may be going on in their life that could affect their recovery and what's going on. It also helps us learn if maybe there isn't a physical therapy angle to be had with this, and maybe they need to be referred to another professional. So that's a medical screening moment. So is what they're going through not sound like something that would be helped with physical therapy? And we would talk to them about that and why we think that, and then try to find them the right professional to refer to. Sometimes what they're going through could be a physical therapy related thing, but they could also benefit from referral to another professional, so that would be another path as well. So after we do the history, do assessment of their movement, particularly of the area that they're complaining about. I also like to take them maybe into the gym, try some other movements, kind of full body, just see how those things are doing. If those things are doing good, great. So then we can take an assessment of the movement, get an assessment of the strength. I like to use a weight scale type measurement so I can actually see how strongly they can pull. So like if their shoulder hurts, maybe I want to see how strongly they can hold their arm up, compare it to the other side, see if there's a difference there. That will help us design ideally what sort of thing we may go after first. So if that area isn't too painful with what we're trying to do, maybe we go after it. If maybe it's a little too painful to be targeted, maybe we try to go after the next area that's maybe weaker, but maybe not hurting as much. Then that way we can modify a program. If they're not doing any sort of exercise routine, that's where we encourage, hey, let's start a routine, even if it's just walking, and then adding in the home exercise program that we will start with that day. Generally, I keep that simple, maybe 1, 2, or 3 things at the most, because I want them to focus on that area. And then we'll talk about perhaps scheduling a follow-up maybe in a week or 2 weeks. Usually 2 weeks is plenty of time out, maybe 3 weeks depending. If there's someone that feels like they can handle doing the program on their own and they feel confident in that accountability, then usually we'll see them maybe in a couple of weeks, recheck and do an assessment and go through that. If there's someone that doesn't think they'll do it on their own, well, that's when I offer the fitness component. And so with that, you have multiple levels. So we have personal training where it'd be one-on-one. We have group personal training where you're sharing that personal training amongst other people. We also we will have the solo gym component as well. There could also be a remote programming. So if somebody's saying, well, I have my own gym, so maybe you can just make a routine for me with that, and then I'll take my home exercise program and that routine and then do it on my own at their own place. If maybe they have a place that's closer they prefer to go to, that's totally fine too. With that, if say that they come to our gym to work out with personal training or the group personal training, we can take what's in the home exercise program and put it over the areas that maybe we would do normally with training if someone wasn't having that issue. And instead we do those home exercises, gym exercises in place of there, and other recommendations that therapists might have. If there's other things that they want to maybe keep an eye on or maybe practice, we can put that in the recommendations for the trainer. The trainer can then use those recommendations to then build a program adding those exercises plus any other exercises that can help the person. So probably going to work the full body. So if maybe they're dealing with a shoulder issue, the trainer will try to program things that they can work on their low body and maybe their trunk and maybe the other arm. While with the area that they're kind of going through physical therapy with, the trainer can use the recommendations from the physical therapist. That way the client actually takes part in their exercise program, but then they have that extra layer of accountability to actually do it, so then they actually get better and then move on. And so when they see the therapist in a couple of weeks and they get reassessed, they'll have a higher chance that they've made progress, as opposed to if maybe they were left to their own and it could be 50-50 whether someone actually does their program or not. So that's kind of the gritty, granular how of what we do here and kind of that dual hybrid system that we're building here. So I hope that was informative and not too granular. And we'll continue on with explaining our story as we go. So we already did why us, and we did how. I think maybe I will talk about our kind of vision ultimately with our place here next time. All right. Thank you very much for joining me today. Again, I'm Nick Markey of Beach Barbell Physical Therapy and Gym here in Wilmington. I really appreciate your time today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.